bring in now Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland of Terrell County, Texas. He's also a retired Border Patrol agent. Sir, always a pleasure to have you. On a day like today, when we watch the movements of the president, the Democrats will come out and say Republicans aren't doing enough, but you're on the front lines here, sir. Also the impeachment of Mayorkas. You're going to say and spell it out now for our viewers. What's broken with this system that needs to get fixed, and who's to blame?
You know, I just said yesterday on Carl's show that, you know, it's not the system that's broke, it's Washington, D.C. that's broke. And if they would only reach out to those of us on the ground that are fighting this battle each day, we can give them solutions. And as you know, I spent 26 years with the Border Patrol. And when I first saw the language start coming out on this new bill, I knew that it was going to be a no-go. It doesn't rely on more money, meaning we don't need more money. This problem that we're experiencing right now can be solved with the simple signature with a pen.
I love it. We love Carl's show, too, every night, 5 o'clock here on NewsMax Frontline. It's great stuff. I'm sure he'll be covering this today. Let's bring in now Mark Morgan, Senior Law Enforcement Analyst, former acting CBP Commissioner, and the Heritage Foundation Visiting Fellow. Mark, Sheriff said it pretty well. It is D.C. that's broken. You know, they're just not enforcing the laws, and I guess no one seems to care in this administration. Is that where we're at today in 2024?
Oh, they care, Bianca. Make no mistake. They care about their strategy of open border policies because they really have a well-entrenched and a perceived political benefit in doing so. At the end of the day, they think their policies are going to end with more Democratic votes and more perpetual power for the Democratic Party. That's what they're doing, and they're jeopardizing every aspect of our nation's safety and national security in doing so. But I tell you what, to the sheriff's point, it's not just Democrats now. This proposed bill that was put forth by the Senate, shame on any Republican, any conservative that is remotely suggesting that this had anything to do with border security, because that's simply false, Bianca.
Yeah, and they care so much they're going to let Mayorkas fall on the sword later today, most likely, right? I do want to get back to the sheriff, but just to drill down a little bit on what you just said, Mark, because it's very important. Some are saying, well, we had to do something because if Democrats take back the White House, this is better than nothing. But now it seems like Langford may not even vote for the bill that he wrote. Didn't it give Democrats so many talking points here? I'm not really, people are confused at why they would even go down this path when we know in earnest they don't want solutions, Mark.
Bianca, that's a great point. I agree with you. The disastrous bill has given the Democrats now a talking point. They're going to claim now, see, look, we had a bipartisan bill and the Democrats killed it. What's so frustrating about this, we already had a bill. 8 months ago, the House passed H.R. 2, the strongest border security bill that's ever been passed in our nation's history. It went over the Democratic side, and Schumer sat on that for over 250 days. That's what we should have demanded. We should have demanded that Schumer unleash H.R. 2, and that's what should have been put on the Senate.
I hear you.
That's the path forward.
We had a bill. We had a wall at one point. We had Remain in Mexico. We had Title 42. Sheriff, you had all these tools in your toolkit, and the country was more secure, sir.
You know, and let me tell you what, while we continue to focus on Eagle Pass and El Paso, which is very important, don't get me wrong, but we're not going to see a fixture for another 8 months, unfortunately. You know, I'm a very optimistic person. But I tell you, we're not going to see anything solved until we get a new president that's going to actually get tough with Mexico, get tough with the borders. But also, you know, speaking with that impeachment, we need to continue forward with this. And I'll tell you what Mr. Mayorkas has said about, you know, this is worldly immigration patterns. Couldn't be further from the truth. This was man-made, what's happening in our borders. And then to that end, when he said he inherited this problem, I tell you, Mark was part of Customs and Border Protection when this was handed over to this administration, talking about the border. It was the most safe and secure border we had. They have really, really hurt us all.
We're also not even, you know, talking about what we can be as well, and that's the northern border as well, Mark. I mean, there's people who want to get in through our northern border as well. I mean, the whole country is now porous.
Yeah, look, a couple important things, Bianca. First, I hope everybody's listening to Sheriff. Right, so this is a man that spent his entire adult life, his entire career on the border. I mean, that means something. So this is not just a political pundit, some talking head.
Yes.
I mean, this is what's so infuriating. This administration, Secretary Mayorkas, on day one, he stopped listening to the career officials. He stopped listening to the people that have dedicated their life and sacrificed so much to secure and defend this border. He's listening to a bunch of politicians. And one example of this bill, how horrible it is, to your point, Bianca, it doesn't address the northern border. It doesn't address the coastal regions, and it allows the continued unlawful use of parole by allowing illegal aliens to come to our airports. This is absurd.
It is absurd, and it's un-American. I mean, we are immigration, yes, but this is beyond immigration. This is now a point where Americans' lives are at risk here.
This is about border security. This is about
Exactly.
border security, which is
Exactly.
synonymous with national security.
And
Bianca.
protecting the people who are here and not giving, like you said, freebies
Amen.
to everybody and at the taxpayers', backs here. We're going to watch it closely. Of course, the vote is set for today. Mark Morgan, Sheriff Cleveland, a pleasure to have you both. I hear your passion. You're on the front lines, fighting the fight. We'll have you back soon.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Let's talk a little bit about Blue City crime now. And